Let's start out this tulip video with a little throwback to when we were planting the tulips back in December. We planted them all out, put them in the raised garden bed, planted them 6 inches down. We had already chilled them in our refrigerator since I believe we got them October, I think. So we really felt like they had their sufficient chill hours. And then the next video you'll see is more towards the beginning of March. Okay, first of all, look at these. You see that? I mean, the bulb is right there at the ground. So something's weird about that. Now, if tulips don't get enough chill hours, they will be super short. So kind of thinking maybe this is what happened to these. And then this, see how short these are looking? I mean, you can see where the tulip is. Like this one right here. And actually, this one that you see is at the stage where it should be picked. So, I wonder if I can hold this and pick it all at the same time. Look. Went ahead and picked this tulip, and as I measured it, it was 12 inches long. The stem was. Put it out on my social media. I sell retail market bouquets from my farm stand. My customers did not care that it was a 12-inch stem. They thought it was beautiful. So that gave me hope. And what I did was I then stored the rest of these that I picked dry in the cooler with just the bulb on as is that you see right here. Waited for the rest of these to come up. The first group right here is the American Dream, and then the second group there are a yellow and then a red in the back. These little ones in the front, that's a whole different story. The little shorty ones. But at least I knew that people were going to buy the tulips, even though they're short. I felt a little bit short. But as you'll see in the next clip, the stem length did actually get longer. Look at those. The ones in the back are red, the ones in the front are yellow, and these are the American Dream, which are a yellow, orangey. These were everybody's favorite. I've almost pulled all of those. This one is definitely ready. See how you can see the tips, but there's still lots of green on there. These need to color up just a little bit more, and I'll be able to pull those up. This one is really the perfect stage, I think, to be pulled. What are you doing in there? I don't think you're supposed to be. Look at that moth. I think you're supposed to be in mine. Okay, see, most of them were like that, and I was thinking, nope, that's going to be terrible. But look, we've gotten some growth, and actually, those need to be halfway colored up before you pull them. So I think I'm going to get a little more length on those, so that's good. I do think these are going to be somewhat usable. I do think they probably needed some more cooling before they were put in the ground, but they're salvageable, so I'm happy about that. It is, I forgot to look, March 13th. Beautiful day. It is 65, and I went to pick all my tulips. I couldn't pick them all, but I picked or harvested, whatever you want to call it, most all of the yellows. All the yellows are gone, meaning I harvested all those. And then the American Dream, which is kind of a yellow, peachy, that was one of my customers' favorites. All those, and then the red, half of those this morning. I've processed all of the yellows, and the reason I did that, I did those first because I knew there were a lot of those, and I wanted to get those done before it got too warm because I didn't want those to blow open. And I got those processed because also I wanted to figure out what maybe was the quickest way to process all of those, trying to get a little quicker at processing all of that. And then I went and got the reds. There's just about half of those. And then I did pick one of the doubles, and I did a little video on, I did actually get like an inch more of the stem. This is how big it is. An inch more of the stem just by cutting the bulb open. But these you're supposed to pick when they're halfway colored. I'm not really sure what halfway colored means. So I picked this one. I'm going to put it in water, see how it opens, give it a little test, and see if I can when to actually pick these. And the reason I'm doing all this is we are opening the stand this weekend because the weather looks decent, meaning we're not going to have rain on Saturday. So I'm trying to get all of these harvested and processed because I have to work the store tomorrow, and then I'd have to just process them on Friday, but it's supposed to rain on Friday. So if I can get it done today, that would be really helpful, and I'll try to sell these. I mean, obviously they're not very tall, but they're still going to be pretty, and you could still have them in a small vase. So I'm going to see how this one goes. Typically you harvest tulips at the color crack stage, meaning when you can tell, well, single tulips, when you can tell what color they are. Like you can tell this is going to be a red, so I can harvest it now. And if I was going to store these for any length of time, I would just store them dry just like this with the bulb on, and they would store perfectly fine. And then when I go to sell them, I would cut the bulb off, take and rehydrate them, and they would be perfect. And they would then open up. I would store them in the cooler, and then they would open up in the customer's hands, which is what you want because that gives you the most vase life. But now I'm going to take the bulb off, take the lower leaves off, hose them off, get all the dirt off. I wrap them in bunches of 20, just works good for me. And I'm going to store them in water and put them in the cooler so that they will not open, but they will stay hydrated. Okay. What I do, cut the bulb off, take off these lower leaves. One, to help hydration. Two, I don't know if you can see, but in there, there's a bunch of dirt. Then I take my water and spray it off. I look in this leaf to see if there's dirt. And then I put it over here just to dry. I don't want to put the flour in the refrigerator if it's wet. So I just decided that I would do it like this. I don't know. It's random. Sometimes I take off 3, sometimes I take off 2 leaves. If I was not, if I was dry storing these with just the bulb, I would spray the bulb and all and get all the dirt off, and then I would dry them, and then I would store them. So this just saves a little bit of work, actually, because now I can get it all done in one step instead of like cleaning all this and then having to kind of do it again when I rehydrate. Rooster agrees with me. He thinks that that's a good idea to try and do it all. This is my first year ever doing tulips, so just so you know, I am far cry from an expert. I took Dave Dowling from the Gardener's Workshop, Woody's bulbs, I don't know, a class there, and mainly for the tulip part, and some others, but mainly to get his information on the tulips. Anyway, so I took that class, and then I've done a lot of research, just, you know, YouTube and online, like how to store them, what can I do, you know, all the things. So, and then this part right here, I mean, nobody really shows you what they do. They just say, oh, take off the lower leaves and rinse off the dirt. In the course, he said he just like dipped them in a bucket of water. Well, that didn't seem to be working for me. So this seems to be working better for me. But there does seem to be a lot of dirt down in here, and that's because when the flower is pushing up, obviously it's pushing up through the dirt. Sale morning, and as you can see, we don't have a line of cars. It is open. Bob said if we had a line of cars, we could grow tulips next year. So I'm not sure if we'll be growing tulips next year, but the stand looks really pretty. We have had one pre-sale. Thanks, Robin. We really appreciate it. And so here we are, tulips. I did do some little jars. Those are only $10 of anemones, and then little jars of short tulips. And then a couple mixed bouquets because I do have some larkspur and different things. And I did do a little tulip information. I don't know if anybody will read it because a lot of times people don't, but got some flowers set up. So these are all my pansies I've grown. You guys have seen those. So we did our tulip sale yesterday, and we did we made 21 tulip bouquets, and we only sold 8. We sold 8 tulip bouquets, which did pay for our initial cost of the bulbs. So, and then I have sold 2 more, but we won't be doing tulips again because they really weren't a big hit with our customers. So I have actually made like $40 off the tulips. But yesterday was a really big day because, as you can see, I have this little donkey circling me as I'm talking, and this is Gully. Gully is a new addition to the farm. He's actually super sweet. He's a little annoyed with me right now because I made him wear a flower crown earlier, which you'll see. Let's see if we can get him to stop. This is Gully. He's really very sweet. But one of our horses had to go down the street. Oops. One of our horses, you can be still for a minute. One of our horses had to go down the street to be a lesson horse, and so we needed a friend for Aaron. And hopefully Gully and Aaron will be friends. They're still actually working it out right now. So we'll see about that. But he's super sweet. And so you're going to see him in more of the flower videos. So we tried to put a little flower crown on him. But he's kind of loud, so hopefully the neighbors won't be mad about it. And this is what we picked up yesterday while we had the tulip sale going on. We picked up little Gully. He likes cuddles though. He really likes cuddles. I thought I would talk a little bit about the tulips. So obviously you have to purchase tulip bulbs, and then you have to store them in the cooler, and then you have to plant them, and then obviously they come up and you pull them, and then we had to process them, wrap them in the sleeves, and set them out on the farm stand. So possibly I didn't do enough marketing on the tulips, but I did start probably in December and sprinkled out there. We were growing tulips, what kind of tulips, we'd have tulips, all those kind of things to just kind of pique their interest and let people know that we were going to have tulips. Then they all started coming up at once. We didn't think that we were going to be able to sell this past weekend because the weather looks terrible. But then all of a sudden the weather changed, and because we had all the tulips and we didn't really want to hold them, we decided to go ahead and sell. I did start, I think, I put out a video, or a post on Thursday, I believe, and then again we put out a lot on Friday, and then of course Saturday morning. So I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know if we didn't put out enough marketing to get people to come. Just for the farm stand, I'm just going to talk about the farm stand. We sold 8 bouquets total, which is less than we normally do. Normally on a Saturday we would sell 12, and I was hoping to up our bouquets, the amount that we sold on a Saturday. 2 of the 8 were the mixed bouquets that I did with some anemones in larkspur that had been blooming that were tall enough to put in a bouquet, and along with 6 tulips. The other bouquets that sold were just straight tulip bunches of 10. I had to sell 10 for $20 in order to, let's just say, make it profitable, even though they didn't all sell. I still felt like that was the price range that it needed to sell at. So that's what I did there. And then because a certain amount had sat out all day, we didn't put them all out. We left some in the refrigerator. But the ones that sat out all day, definitely can't keep those any longer. So we had 7 left over at the close of the farm stand. So what we did was we just drove around in our golf cart and we delivered those bouquets to some really great neighbors. And actually that was fun. I really enjoy being able to deliver some of those to some neighbors of ours. And some of those neighbors are always sharing our posts and always telling people to come to the farm stand. They're perfectly happy to go deliver these bouquets to neighbors. I did that. I'd rather do that than compost them. So, you know, why not go ahead and do that? So we did that. And then obviously we still have some left in the cooler, trying to decide what I'm going to do with those. Not really sure yet. So, as I have stated, we broke even with purchasing the tulip bulbs and the amount of bouquets we sold at the farm stand. So there we broke even. Now that doesn't include obviously your sleeve and all the little incidentals that go along with putting your bouquet together, and that doesn't, you know, include any kind of labor throughout the whole thing. But we did break even. Oh, you're gonna get here? Hopefully you could hear that in the background. That was Gully. And then since then, I've now sold 3 bouquets. 2, 4, 6. So a profit of $60. So some of that would cover the incidentals. Bob had said at the get-go, if we have cars lined up right when we open up and we sell out, then we'll definitely grow bouquets grow tulips next year. But if not, we won't. So this is our 2nd year. This was a trial, and the trial didn't go very well. But luckily, we didn't spend a lot, meaning we only grew 300. I think there was 100 of that parrot kind that came up short. And honestly, I have hardly harvested any of the parrots because they came up so short. I did put those out for 10 short parrots for $10 because I didn't feel like I could charge any more than that, $1 a stem, because they were short. And I did sell one bunch of those. And then now we're going to have a lull because I don't have anything else coming up. I did not plant ranunculus. I haven't had good luck in last year and the year before that with the ranunculus. I do not have a tunnel to grow ranunculus in, and that's really what it needs. Anemones do really well for me outside, but ranunculus has not. So I did not grow ranunculus, and that's what would come up next. And so now I have to wait for my anemones to get taller and the snapdragons to bloom and the sunflowers to grow. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be several weeks before I can have bouquets again. So there's a lull between tulips and then just starting market bouquets. So all of this to say, these are all the reasons that I don't think right now growing tulips is going to be a good idea for us. If you all have a different experience, if you have any other ideas or you've grown them before and have anything else, like good ideas for me, just let me know. Drop your comments in because I would love to hear them. Or if you have any better marketing suggestions for me. Basically, we just market on Instagram and Facebook and try to get people to come. We're considering running a paid Facebook ad to get more people coming to the farm stand. I'm not sure what else to do. I mean, we do put information out in different Facebook groups. So it's not just our Facebook page, but different Facebook groups and next door and all that kind of stuff for our farm stand. So we do, you know, not just our Facebook page, but other groups. So I'm not really sure what else to do. And I'm considering also for this upcoming season, I'm considering maybe going to some businesses and seeing if I want to maybe start with just a subscription for businesses where I would deliver to the business, but I'm not sure about that either. Just because this is our second year, I'm a little nervous about starting a subscription type thing because I want to see how many flowers we have and all that kind of stuff before I start a subscription, which I might start next year. So there's that. And we're working on our website, so we'll have that up and running at some point. So I'm trying to get that all in order.